There's nothing higher on the vibrational scale than fun. Yeah. Feeling like this is the best that there is in terms of accessing all that you are, yes? So it might take you a little while to settle down. You've had a journey on your way to this journey already, haven't you? And so together, over the days that are coming, we are going to take thought where it hasn't been before, not just new for you, but new for all that is. And while sometimes it is hard to contemplate this, the discoveries that we all accomplish here together are beneficial universally. Worldwide benefit from new awarenesses that hatch in places like this. We know that you have been trending in the direction of new and more. And we know that contrast has caused you to launch rockets that have accomplished a vibrational reality. We call that your vortex. And that vortex, that vibrational reality, is ripe and ready to be experienced by you fully. And that's one of the things that is so delicious about being together like this in an intimate but incredibly focused situation. In other words, our advanced announcement to you is that you'll discover firsthand in the days that follow and in the days that follow those days that things are always working out for you, but you will witness it and understand it and realize it in ways that you have not before. There's something so nice about being in an environment where normal things are not being asked of you, where you are not required to focus as you usually do, where you can relax in more deliberate but more frequent, more consistent, more longer trending moments, because your connection to your source, to your inner being, you're becoming a cooperative component to your own vortex, is really a progressive thing that if you can find a period of time where you do more of that than usual, wonderful things are then realized by you. Most humans are offering most of their vibration in response to what they are observing. And so they observe wanted things and then they observe unwanted things. So they trend upper half of the emotional scale, then lower half of the emotional scale. And when you're moving back and forth like that, no real trend happens. So no real change happens. So, and most important, no real realization happens. But when you have an opportunity like this one that you've carved out for yourself, where first of all there is mostly things to observe, more things to observe that have you trending on the upper half of the emotional scale. You know what we're talking about? This emotional scale that we wrote it out for you, published it in a book, 22 stops along the way. At the very top place on the scale is joy and appreciation, love, those good feeling, high-flying emotions and frequencies. And then all the way to the bottom of the scale is fear and depression, those feelings of true pinching off of the resources that are natural to you, and then some of a lot in between. So we've been talking about the upper half of that scale and the lower half of that scale, with the fulcrum, the tipping point, being that place where you just give up, that place where you You give up and just let the well-being that you deserve and the well-being that you want and the well-being that is queued up for you and the well-being that your inner being is focused with you about, where you let that stream for a little while, because words don't teach. It's only life experience that teaches. And so when you have the opportunity to stream or trend more deliberately in the direction of who you really are for a period of time, like this period of time that you have deliberately and brilliantly carved out for yourself in these 8 days that we will be together, what happens is that trending matters. It is a meaningful turning point most often in the lives of those who deliberately participate and focus. There is no big thing. You don't have to listen carefully to what we are saying to you. We know where you are vibrationally. We know where you are, each of you, in each gathering as we come together. We know where you are in relationship to what you want. We know where you are trending, where you have been trending, and where you are likely to trend. And so the conversations that we will have here in this forum will be to assist you in softly, gently, no big deal here, shifting the trending of your focus. And you will notice it. You'll witness it. You'll witness it first by the way you are feeling, and next by the way things begin to unfold in your experience. Esther notices when she gets on a trend like that, she will say, "Oh, the magic's back." And she knows it's not magic. She knows it's natural. But the way most people would describe what happens to those like you who put yourself in a place of non-resistance for a considerable amount of time, so that you allow your non-resistant state to be your trend just for a little while. That allows a momentum that moves things that haven't been moving. So if there are things that you've been wanting that you feel stuck about, you'll start to see and feel, let's say it the way it goes first, feel and then see movement on those things. See what we're getting at? The emotional scale is going to be a big topic of conversation, because the way you feel is your way of understanding what you are doing in this moment of this emotion vibrationally. And that matters so much, because your vibrational state of being equals precisely your point of attraction. Nothing comes to you apart from your vibration, from your vibrational point of attraction. No one else can vibrate for you. Nobody else can be your point of attraction. No one else can do for you. You are the vibrational attractor. But there is something that we want you to consider. It's a new way of understanding that we know for sure is going to light you up and serve you in easier ways. And here it is. If you have been listening to us for a while, have you? Then you have undoubtedly heard us speaking about this vibrational reality, this vortex, and the cooperative components that are being gathered there by the law of attraction. And then we ask you, are you a cooperative component to your own desire? Because when you want something that you doubt, you're not a cooperative component. When you want something and you are ornery, you're not a cooperative component. When you want something and you are feeling mean or hateful, you are not a cooperative component. Your emotions are your indicator of how cooperative or uncooperative you are being in any moment in time. So as we're moving through the wonderful sequence of hours that this magnificent cruise organization have carved out for us, allowing us this space and this time in order to collaborate and become cooperative components with one another, what you're going to begin to notice is that if you will, during this week together and beyond, if you will begin to think of yourself in terms of, am I a cooperative component? Am I being a cooperative component? To what? Am I being a cooperative component to my vibrational reality, to the way my inner being is seeing my life, to what my inner being is a point of attraction for relative to me. But here's another way of looking at it. Am I, speaking of you and your physical body, am I, right here, right now, a cooperative component to the path of least resistance? Am I being a cooperative component to the path of least resistance? Now, the path of least resistance and the path of most allowance are the same path. The reason over time, over all the time that we've been spewing this to you, the reason that we refer to it as the path of least resistance is because we don't want you to ever feel like you're supposed to ever be only on a path of only allowance. You are here, and resistance is a normal part of humanness. It's a normal part of being part of a time and a space. So some resistance is always going to be part of it. But if you are thinking in terms of the path for you right here, right now, this red hot minute, the path of least resistance or the path of most allowance, and you're now coupling with that, I want to be a cooperative component. Am I being a cooperative component to the path of most allowance? Am I being a cooperative component to the path of least resistance? So Esther's been playing with this. We've been playing with her about it. And one of the phrases that we've been speaking a lot, and she's speaking a lot to herself too, is, does this thought, in that she'll be driving, something will occur to her, maybe triggered by a song, maybe triggered by something else she's hearing on the radio, maybe triggered by something she's seeing around her in the world, in traffic, in other drivers. Doesn't matter where it comes from. And a thought will begin streaming, and she's begun saying to herself, does this thought feel a little better, or does it feel a little worse? Is this a thought of more allowing or more resistance? Is this thought right now, this thought that I'm thinking, this thought that I'm offering, this thought that is the reason for the vibration of my point of attraction, is this thought allowing or resisting? Is it more allowing than where I was just now, or less allowing than where I was just now? So we'll talk a lot about this. You'll like it as we're chewing on the nitty-gritty of what's on your mind. As we talk about whatever it is, and you then contemplate, does this thought feel a little better, or does it feel a little worse? And then add to that, am I right now a cooperative component to my desires, or am I right now a cooperative component to my doubts? And as you put that together, you're going to find yourself doing a much better job, a much more deliberate job of trending in the direction of what you want. And it doesn't take very much deliberate trending before manifestations start giving you evidence of what you've been doing. It's a nice thing to think a nice thought and feel good for a minute.